Now in AIML 1, we only had two wildcards. We had the star and we had the underscore. If you remember, the underscore took priority over even a direct match, and the star is the lowest of all. Now in AIML 2, we have a couple more wildcards which can match 0 or more wildcard words. So let me show you an example of something. So let's try. Say we wanted to do anything that contained the name France. Okay. So let's just make up a default priority, a default category. Okay. So if we wanted to make up any category that had, if we wanted to call that every time the user mentioned France, what we had to do before was to create a load of kind of arrays to there. So what we ended up doing, so anything that started with France, anything that ended with France, or anything that had France in it. Yeah. So if someone says, "Have you been to France ever?" Yeah, just says that's in Europe. Yep. So it's matched that, which is a bit messy, really. If we want to be doing this for lots of categories, we're going to end up with 3 arrays every time. So what we can say as well is we've now got a wildcard option we can use. So instead of saying 1 or more wildcards, we can use the caret symbol, and that means 0 or more wildcards, 0 or more words. So now if we say this, have you been to France ever? Yeah, it gets that's in Europe. But if we miss that out and just have you been to France, yeah, that's in Europe, because it doesn't have to match a word. The star and the underscore always have to match at least one word. The caret symbol doesn't. Okay, now let's say we had another category of, let's think. So what we can do, we'll just set up one that says, I don't know, I like France. And the bot can say something like, I've never been. Okay, so now if we say, I like France, yep, I've never been. Okay, but that will no longer match our keyword, because this takes priority. It matches a word. It matches the words. That takes lower priority. If we want to do anything that has the word France in it, we need a new wildcard, which is the hash symbol. Now this is the equivalent of the underscore, but again can match 0 or more words. So if I say now I like France, that's in Europe. Yep, even though this is a direct match, that still takes priority. Okay, so the easiest way to remember it is the hash symbol is the same as the underscore, and the caret symbol is the same as the star. The only difference being they can match 0 words, they have to match at least one word. Yeah. Now there is another symbol we can use as well, which is the $sign. What that means is, let's say we have the catch-all of France. If anyone mentions the keyword France at all, it says that's in Europe. However, let's say we want to particularly answer I like France with this. That would never be picked up, because that's always going to overwrite it. But if you put a $sign at the front of the phrase, what that will do is this will take priority, and this should be displayed back to the user. I like France. Yeah, I've never been, because it's an absolute direct match with a $. Yeah. Now, if we add, let's have a look. Missed out the $sign. As you can see, yeah, you say, oops, didn't save it. I like France. Yeah, that always overwrites. So it's very important that you get the priorities right of the wildcards. If it comes out with strange answers, chances are one of the wildcards is wrong. Now, if you pop over to the AIML Foundation, which is just AIML.foundation, what there is a list of everything on the documentation page, and this will show you like the order in which things match. So if I just scroll down, there we go. Right, so this is the order that things match. So the lowest possible match is a star, yeah, and then the caret, a match found in a set. Sets, remember from earlier. Exact word, or then the underscore, which is 1 or more, 0 or more, and finally the dollar at the top. So if you want to be absolutely guaranteed that your pattern's going to be hit, you need to put dollar and then the word at the front of it. Okay, so yeah, plenty of different wildcards we can use. For me, the caret sign's not really used that much. The hash sign's really useful, especially if you want to do something that's happened in the news. So let's say, I don't know, it's the World Cup or something, and people are talking about the World Cup. You can just put something in there like that. Put a few random responses in there, and you've soon got an easy catch-all. For something that happens in the news. So just an example. Yep, so let's say something about World Cup. I know it's not World Cup, but do you like the World Cup? Yep, my wonderful win. If someone wants to know something more factual, where is the World Cup? Put on the dollar sign. It is in, I don't know, Russia or wherever. Where is the World Cup? It's in Russia, yeah. So anything, rather than trying to think of loads of responses, just put, something like that in there, a few random responses, and the bot will look like it's kind of up to date on any kind of news as well. Okay, so that's wildcards. See you later.